Welcome back to another video, guys. Today is July 5th. Hope you all enjoyed your 4th of July. And this week's video is going to be a little bit different than the previous videos I have been posting. Thought I would share an experience that I had as a guest on the Co-Movement podcast. Really enjoyed that experience. Had a great time talking with my friend Josh. Definitely go check out their channel. I will put it down below. So if you guys are interested after you hear this podcast, definitely go over to their channel, check them out. We will resume the running journey and all that good stuff in next week's video. Disclaimer before we get into this video, this is going to be about a 50-minute podcast, so it really is a good one. And without further ado, let's jump right into today's video.
You are listening to the Co-Movement Gym podcast. The following is a conversation with David Gleason. David was a competitive gymnast for 15 years. His favorite event was the floor and the pommel horse. He was a two-time all-around state champion, second all-around at the regional championships, and two-time regional champion on the pommel horse. He recently graduated from the New Mexico Military Institute and earned his associate's degree in science. He will be attending the Citadel, the Military College of South Carolina, and will also be part of the Naval ROTC unit, where he will begin his journey of becoming a commissioned naval officer. David also recently started running, as he will be trying out for the cross-country team at his new college. His main goal, though, is to be accepted into the Naval Academy. I met David at our gym when he was just a little guy. Over the years, I've had the pleasure of seeing him grow up into a young man that is not only responsible and kind, but also one of the most disciplined people that I know. I thank each and every one of you for being on this journey with us. Now, please enjoy the show. We're live with David in the studio on the Co-Movement Gym podcast. How you doing, dude?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. We like having cool people on, and you're one of them.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here. Super excited.
You're home on school break now?
Yes.
So nice. You staying busy?
Yeah, staying busy for sure.
Training a lot?
Yeah. I'm on a running program right now, actually, so really pumped.
I know.
Start that new journey right now.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah.
We're maybe a little bit later in the chat, we'll get into that.
Okay.
But one of the things I want to start off with is you're a level 10 gymnast.
Yep.
I met you when you were little, and I saw you just like develop into this killer athlete, not just gymnastics, but like CrossFit, running, the whole deal.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that, I think that's very cool. For listeners, I know that a lot of people struggle with time to work out during the week. Like they find 2 to 3 hours, they struggle with that. Yeah. Can you give listeners an idea of how many hours a week when you were training gymnastics full-time you would train?
So for me, I was training Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with Wednesday off. And Sunday, of course, too, but that was just a little, just to get us back into it. And each practice was about 3.5 hours. So right after school, I didn't live close to the gym, so I would be driving myself. When I could drive, I started driving myself to practice, which was a 40-minute drive just to get there.
So you had over an hour and a half of driving plus 3.5 hour practice.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was the best part of the day because, school is done, all the tough stuff. So now it's time to, just kind of kick back, enjoy the gym a little bit.
Yeah, so I want to go farther with this. So 5 days a week, you were in school full time, obviously, for 4 of those days. Yep. So not only do you do the whole school day, and school's not easy, school's hard. Yeah. You'd get out, then you'd have practice. Yep. 40-minute drive there. Yep. 3.5 hours of practice. Yep. 40-minute drive home. Eat, shower, homework. Yep. Rinse and repeat.
Yes. Every day.
Yep. Every day. Since, like age what? You started gymnastics at what, like 5?
I actually got involved in a tumbling class when I was about 3 or 4 years old. I had a lot of energy as a kid, so my parents kind of got me into that. And then I took off into that for a little while. Took a break from that, got into wrestling because that was my dad's sport and wanted to try that out, see what that was about. And then I had a moment where I really missed gymnastics, and I was like, I'd like to get back into the competitive field and kind of see what that's about. And then once I got back into it, I kind of never looked back after that.
Nice. What year or how old were you when you started the competitive side of gymnastics?
I would say
8 or 9?
Yeah, maybe 7 or 8.
Okay.
I kind of got in late in the game, at least for a competitive gymnast. A lot of them are 5 or 6 getting into it. So
Sure.
I got into it a little late, but
you're talking like 10 years of that schedule.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't start out that way,
Sure,
but yeah, it worked up to it, definitely. At least at the, kind of what I was trying to do and what I was trying to like obtain from it, that was kind of the schedule I needed to have in order to do that.
Yeah. And what a sacrifice from your parents' side too.
Yeah, definitely.
Like they're working full-time jobs,
Yep.
demanding jobs as professionals, and then they're
Yeah.
driving you around competitions. And gymnastics, is it year-round? Or was there a season? Like I know there's a competitive season, but like practice though. Did you ever have like a month or two off?
Not really. I mean, our time off was maybe a little bit in Christmas and New Year's. And then we had a couple times, maybe 2 times at most, where we'd have a week off. So when we were transitioning from like school ending, like during the academic year, and then going into like our summer schedule, we would have a week off. And then after that week, we would jump right into like our summer schedule.
Gotcha. Yeah. Wow. So you never, so you went almost 10 years straight.
Yeah.
Okay. So for people listening, if you need to find 2 to 3 hours a week, that they should find some inspiration from you training 20 hours a week.
I mean, if you can, definitely. I mean, I think with, working out, I think, the people that kind of excuse about, maybe it's hard to find time, and, I think it's like a time management thing, and you kind of just have to find the right balance for like what works in your schedule. You know what I mean? Like, even if you can't like get to the gym, like I'm sure you can find a little bit of space in your house just to, maybe do some sit-ups, some push-ups, just to kind of get that blood flowing a little bit. If you want to go run, I mean, you can go out on the road, be careful, make sure you know what you're doing with that. But like, just make sure you're staying mobile, make sure you're moving, try and eat the right things. I think, it goes a long way. But, I think people get that kind of confused where, well, I have to be in a gym environment. Well, you don't,
I agree.
Just staying, do what you have to do. It doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be like CrossFit. You don't have to, kill yourself, but just, keep your body in motion and just, do what works best for you.
Yeah, that's great advice. I think more people need to find what works best for them.
Yeah.
Like you had mentioned, like home, doing stuff at home, or, running, walking, swimming, whatever. Maybe a gym. There are obviously a lot of people that like the gym too, but then there's different styles of training in the gym, weightlifting, yoga, CrossFit, powerlifting, but they need to find, and we talk about this a lot, they need to find what they like doing. Andy and I talk about this all the time. Like if all you like to do is run, like eat healthy, go to bed and run, and like you're going to be pretty healthy. If all you like is yoga, that's great. All you like is powerlifting, that's great. It doesn't need to be a pain in the ass to like drag yourself there because you're not motivated.
Exactly.
There's something that someone likes doing something. I believe that, so 2 to 3, 4 hours a week, I think is very manageable. I do believe it is a time management issue too. I think a lot of people waste time, Netflix, and they're just not efficient. You can definitely find that window,
Absolutely.
What do you attribute your success to for those 10 plus years? And even currently, you're in phenomenal shape sitting in front of me. What do you think? Like, there's so many factors to being an elite athlete, right? Which is where you were within the gymnastics side and probably still are in many respects. What do you like if you were to look back and say, these are the top 2, 3, 4 things that got me to where I am?
I think surrounding myself with the right people was the big thing. You know, I needed to have people around me that were better than me, to help push me to that next level. And then the coaching was really important. I found this coach, from the gym that I started at. You know, I thought he was a great coach, and he really helped me kickstart my career, get me off the ground a little bit. And he was a young guy, and that really kind of, having the youth there kind of helped me too. But then when I moved to my second gym and kind of got in touch with these coaches and started working with them, I started to realize like the knowledge that they had, and kind of the careers that the one that I'm super close with, Walt, he was full of knowledge, and just the opportunities that he had as a gymnast. I think in his coaching, you could see that he wanted to push that down to his gymnasts. So having him really helped me become a better gymnast. And then later on in my career, he started kind of pushing me to pursue the college field, and not just the college field, just one of the service academies. Really, he was like, I could see you going to the Naval Academy and competing. And we kind of started that, okay, let's kind of go for it. And I knew freshman year, even before freshman year, I knew I wanted to attend one of the service academies. It's been a goal for a long time. And, we worked really hard for 2 years, to try and get there. But, I was talking with the coaches and everything like that, and it just kind of didn't end up happening. I think the interest was there, but we just couldn't get me quite there. We were very close, but we just couldn't get me to that next level. But I think if you're talking about success, I think it's about getting the right coaches, surrounding yourself with people that are better than you, that are going to motivate you and push you. And really, I think those are the two big things. And just kind of stay consistent. And, you fail a lot. I mean, not just in gymnastics, but just in whatever you're trying to like
in life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, you're going to fail so many thousands of times at least. I think just picking yourself up, and, it makes you stronger, and you breaking down those barriers is really going to help you get where you want to be.
Yeah, and that's going to transfer to everything in your life. So you're used to it from a sport perspective, but dude, that's going to be everywhere. Business, employment, family, and you've learned a lot at a young age with that. For what you're describing, so listeners understand, like you were attempting to go Naval Academy or West Point, right? Obviously, like if people aren't familiar, like the admission rate and the process for this is like unbelievably difficult. Like the highest of the highest echelon to get into. So like we don't view that as a failure by any means. It's just you were going for like that Olympic level type goal. And yeah, dude, like I think that having that high goal makes you better along that path, whether you accomplish the goal or not, right? It's like setting your chief aim high versus aiming low, right? Absolutely. It's like I want C's in school and I'm cool with that, or like I want A's and you get B's, right? But you wouldn't have gotten B's if you said the C was the goal, you know? Yeah, so I just wanted to clarify that with people. And then how about like nutrition and lifestyle? Like I know your parents are super squared away. They're both athletic. They enjoy eating super clean. They've been friends and clients of ours for years. So how did that play a role, if at all? Because you're a kid and kids like to eat like shit. But you can't perform at a high level eating donuts. And so what's that look like in your life in high school there and now?
So kind of back, when I was really competitive was, my mom's on a gluten-free diet now. And for nutrition wise, I would say it was always a protein, maybe a little bit of potatoes, always a vegetable in there. And that was kind of my nutrition. I wouldn't say that I had the like optimum nutrition maybe for bodybuilding, for example. You're pounding calories and things like that,
But you don't want to gain and get huge being in your sport. Gymnastics.
So I think like now I'm like tracking calories and things like that for kind of what I'm doing because I'm trying to optimize performance in what I'm doing right now.
Running.
Yeah. So I'm not trying to like build any muscle or gain any weight or like, if I'm losing weight, at least it's, maybe 2 pounds every, couple weeks or something like that. But when I was like training, I think where the physique was coming from was just our conditioning. But also, like I said, wasn't really tracking calories. So I just tried to have, at least a protein, try and drink, stay hydrated. Yeah. And that was pretty much it. I tried to limit my sweetness as much as possible because I do have a little bit of a sweet tooth.
Well, we all do.
Yeah. But I think I did, pretty good. And then, like I said, my mom being gluten free, that kind of, she always likes to cook. So, she's always put good food on the table. And I think that was, really it for me.
Yeah, that's a great point. And me and you take it for granted being sort of like the way that we were brought up, like eating whole food.
Yeah.
Like we had parents that cook and enjoy cooking. They bought normal food, like whole foods.
Yeah. Or even gardening, just growing your food too, I think is really important.
It's huge. Yeah, for sure. So just the fact that you were a kid growing up with home cooked meals with whole food, irregardless of paying attention to like calories or macros or anything, you were eating good food. And yeah, I think that goes a long ways. And I'm assuming just knowing your parents, like you were sleeping appropriately and like, yeah, you're squared away.
Yeah, pretty disciplined lifestyle. I mean, I think that's why I kind of, crossed over to kind of what I wanted to do later in life.
Yeah, you would have never got to the level you're at, with that. Like when I work with and see like the youth today, a lot of them want like quick results. And this is in adults, obviously, too. How do we fix that mindset to help people look like 1 year chunks, 3 year chunks, 10-year chunks? Like, how do we get around that like 30 or 60-day challenge type mindset?
Oh, that's a good question.
I don't have the answer to that.
Yeah, I think with that, if you have a goal, like I'll just shoot this out there. My goal right now is with this running program that I'm on, by the end of July, I want to be able to run a 17:35K. Now that's,
17 minutes, 30 seconds, 5K run.
Which is about, a 5:38 pace maybe that you're keeping consistently. And, we're, I don't know, 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks into the programming and, I'm starting to see some results and even I'm guilty of it. I want to see this come faster. I want to be able to do it now. But I think something that we have to think about a little bit more, and I always take a step back and think, okay, I have this goal in front of me, right? It's going to take time. It's not going to come overnight. So, the way that I'm going to achieve this is I have to be sleeping right. I have to be making sure I'm taking in, proper nutrition to make sure that I'm at my body's at optimal position to attain this goal. And then I need to put in the work too. So, and just kind of trusting that process and don't, try and look at like, okay, this is the end goal, like, and just work towards that, because you should be excited. Like if you're setting a goal of something that you really want to achieve, you should be excited and want to go after it with everything you have, even at your worst, even when you're just, completely dead and you have nothing left, you should be able to give a little bit more. So I think, it takes time, but you just have to like trust the process and just let it play out, and whatever happens is going to happen.
See, that's perfect timing. That answer is so funny. So you laid it out like you need the basic foundation of like food and lifestyle, like nutrition and lifestyle, so you can build the engine to then perform accordingly. Yeah. Right. And then consistency. But along with the consistency, you said something really good. We just got a testimonial the other day, a client sent in, we didn't ask, they just sent it in. And they had said in their testimonial that they are trusting the process and that they've never had that mindset before, but they are feeling and looking amazing. And you just mentioned that too, because the process is long, it's grueling, maybe not every day is like a PR, but just going through the actions and trusting that, like, who's helping you with running? Bob, right?
Yep.
Like that Bob knows what he's doing to get you there. So just get your lifestyle, food in order, be consistent, trust the process. Yeah, because nothing great comes quick.
No.
I have seen, and this is in business, obviously physical too, but business too. Anything that seems too good too fast isn't gonna work.
Yeah.
Or doesn't work.
Or maybe
there's
it's
something you're
short-lived.
not
It's
seeing.
probably
It's very short-lived.
Yeah.
And I'm almost now like skeptical over those things. Like it's just too good to be true, you know? And it's like, yeah, it is. Yeah, I got lots of examples of those. I won't list them off, but like the things like this podcast, for example, is like we're just starting year 3.
Right.
It's been 2 years of like a grind, like learning how to interview and have conversations and technology and YouTube, right? Like it worked.
Yeah.
But it's something that I believe in and our team does. And so, you know, we just are in it for the grind.
Right.
Know?
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Let's see here. So let's see, you graduated with your associates. Congratulations.
Yep, thank you.
That is so cool.
Thank you.
You're transferring down to South Carolina.
Yes.
That's even cooler. I was just down there. Charleston Bridge.
Yep.
10K run we did. Are you anywhere near the Charleston Bridge? Do you know the area I'm talking about? I don't know South Carolina at all.
So I don't know. Is that in Charleston?
Yeah, like downtown.
Okay. Well, I haven't been there since last July, but I'm sure I'll know where it is.
Okay. Yeah, I'm interested to see if you're near that. What a beautiful state.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
You probably need to come back to New York.
Yeah, probably not. I absolutely loved it there when I went. I mean, the weather is just killer.
My good friend Wes, if he's listening, Wes, what's up? He lives there. He loves it. He's a coach down in Charleston. Yeah, super successful.
Yeah.
And so I think you're going to enjoy it, and especially like the beaches and just that coastal life. Yeah. You have nice weather pretty much year round. Very southern feel, like that southern charm, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely a lot different. Well, in a way, I think the climate, I mean, is humid, you know, just like here in New York, but you know, you're not really battling the winter. So yeah, running in that heat is going to be a little bit different than it is here. So
it's hot as shit down there.
Yeah, it is.
Like right now, it's already getting crazy. It'll be crazy from now to September. You know.
Oh yeah,
we have family, a lot of family in Florida, and it is they all come up here for a chunk of the summer. Yeah, like screw that. So what are you going to major in?
So I'm looking to go into mechanical engineering.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. What's a vision with that? Like, do you have an idea of what that would like be in real life, or?
Not really yet. I mean, I've had some like outlandish ideas, I think. I mean,
like what? I like outlandish ideas.
Okay. I mean, for me, growing up, I really enjoyed playing with Legos. And I think a lot of mechanical engineers probably enjoy doing that. And I just think it's kind of a cool concept to like have an understanding of like how things are put together, or you know, how is a car engine made, or like how is an iPhone made, and like those things are really cool. And I think like something for me is like kind of looking to the future, like if this was possible, like maybe working for Apple one day and like being one of the guys that like is working on the team of like the next iPhone, or you know, the next Apple Watch or something like that. Yeah,
cool.
I thought about
it. Because obviously I've known you since you were little, like, and you didn't really have any idea even going to college 2 years ago.
Yeah.
When did that start to click?
I think kind of just thinking about like kind of as simple as just like, picking up my phone and being like, oh my gosh, how is that put together? Like,
curious.
Yeah, I'm just curious about it. I think it's really like interesting. Or even like branching out and, you know, working with like Apple, for example, and like having an understanding of like how they're making these products and like how they like correlate together to be this one product. Or from that experience, maybe branching out to making my own, you know, device or something like along the lines of that, and then selling it to the public. You know, man, something like that would be kind of cool too.
Entrepreneur, create an idea, you patent it, and you sell it, and then then you got lots of free time.
I mean, that wouldn't happen right away, but like, you know, that's just something that would kind of be cool. You know, I think with the right, you know, education and, you know, kind of starting, at maybe a smaller business and just working my way up, and then trying to transfer into that would kind of be cool.
Have you ever heard of Boston Dynamics?
No, I haven't.
Okay, look that up.
Okay.
They're in Boston. I think it's MIT.
Okay.
Correct. They are building or have built robots that are doing like human, like full out human, like parkour courses.
Okay.
And like they have animals like dogs.
I think I might have seen a couple.
They dance. Yeah. They do parkour, backflips. Like they are us, but they're programmed to like do things better even.
Right.
Like it's really freaky. Yeah. So would you want to work with robots?
Yeah, that would be something cool too.
Yeah,
definitely.
They might be taking over the world someday.
Yeah, I hope not.
I hope not too. All right, so cross country. This is very interesting to me. I was super pumped. So you come from a gymnastics background. Obviously, you're very good at other things too. You're going to try out for and make a run at 5K, right? Cross country at college. And so you are running what, like a 20-minute 5K now?
So we just did our base run, our like base time to see what we're kind of working with. So that way we know what direction we need to go in with the programming. And from my test, I did a 22:04.
That's like no training.
Yeah, that's no training. Just going in kind of cold, just doing the best I could, exerting, all the energy I had, and that was pretty much the time. And that was kind of like what I was thinking going in. I'm like, it'll probably be around 22, which isn't bad. I mean, it's a good starting point. I said,
7:10 miles, 7:20?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's fast.
Yeah. And something that we're learning is like, Bob will tell me like, David, you're really fast, but what we're trying to work is trying to get you to maintain a fast pace for a longer time. Because he's like, you stay fast for, a good majority of it, but then you're going to start, tinkering out. So, we got to work that. Because he said, you have a strong aerobic system, but we got to build your anaerobic. That's when you got to, maintain it the best.
Yeah, because 5K at a 5:38 split, whatever you have to get down to, 17:30 total time. That's highly anaerobic.
Yeah.
And so your aerobic base is great. Like you can run the Boilermaker today and like cruise control.
Yep.
But when you come out of the gate having to almost sprint 3 miles, that's a big difference. And you're familiar with that. So is Bob, obviously. But I think you're going to be successful with that. Sure. I think you're going to be close.
Well, what kickstarted this was for those people that aren't familiar, in order to apply to the academy, you have to do a fitness test. Yeah. And it consists of a 1-hour basketball throw from your knees. You have to do pull-ups, shuttle run, push-ups, and sit-ups, and then a mile run. And the mile run is after all of that.
Yeah. And
consistently across the board, I mean, for the 2 years I applied leading up to this third time applying, I was a 16 for the first year, 6:15 last year. And now coming in this year, I was like, okay, I need to have at least like a 5 something, even if it's a 5:58, that's what it needs to be.
Okay.
And I didn't really train super much for the run. I just kind of went out and just like, I had that mental state of like, okay, I'm just going to go as hard as I can. I don't care if it hurts or whatever.
Fly and die.
Yeah. And I didn't care. I mean, I was like really pushing hard, and I made it in like 5:53.
You did? You did a 1 mile in 5:53?
Yes. Okay. And that was after everything else, all the push-ups and sit-ups. And so it's not easy to just get a sub-6 in that kind of environment, but that's what kind of got the wheels turning. And at the end of this year, when I was denied again, I started thinking, okay, if I want to reapply, like, gymnastics is starting to get a little bit harder to get recruited for because I'm getting older. And not saying that I'm retiring yet, but kind of looking at some other options. And I was like, I did that mile in like 5:53. And that's not a consistent mile. I can keep a low 6, just pushing myself.
Sure.
And I'm like, I wonder what it's going to look like if I just train a little bit for this and, put in some effort, what this could like turn into.
Yep.
So I started talking to some of the coaches and out in Charleston. And I was also talking to a coach at Norwich University. And with that team in Norwich, I could have just went and ran for them.
Now, where are they? What is it?
They're in Vermont.
Okay, I never heard of them.
Yeah.
D3?
Yeah, they're a D3.
Okay, you could have just jumped on that.
Yeah, I could have jumped right on, but
the weather's a lot different in Vermont.
Yeah, it is. And the cross country seasons are both fairly short. I mean, you're starting in like September, ending in November. And then I talked with the coaches out in Charleston at the Citadel, and this is a Division I program. It's a little bit different animal.
Than a hugely different.
So kind of talked with them and was trying to get some information to see what it was going to kind of entail. And, they were kind of like, okay, well, you're going to have this time in a 5K.
17:30.
Yeah, that's the most that they're taking.
Yeah,
and then
the slowest.
Yeah. And then they said for like an 8K, because that's where you're going to be running when we compete, is like a sub 29. Okay. But then I started thinking more. I'm like, okay, if I put in the training, and I'm running a 17:30 by the end of the summer. By the time we have to do an 8K, I mean, I'll be hitting sub 29. What's the
split they need for the 8K? You said 5:38 split for 5K, but what does the split come out to be for 8K?
So they're asking for a sub 29 on an 8K.
Yeah, but what's the mile breakdown to? Do you know what that is?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah. I'm wondering how much it would be slower.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit slower. It's close to 5 miles for an 8K. Yeah. It's about 4.9 or something.
Probably 6:15, 6:20.
Yeah.
I would assume, maybe.
But if you're going at a 17:30, of course, you have the anaerobic capacity to definitely take that off. So
the 8K is more aerobic. Obviously, the longer the distance, more aerobic.
Yeah.
So that'll be really cool. How many days a week are you running now with Bob's program?
So it kind of fluctuates because what we're looking at is kind of when I wake up, we look at my heart rate.
And HRV?
Yeah, that's a big part of like our training is watching my heart rate, because that's an important thing to look at, because that will determine kind of what we're doing for our workout.
Yep.
And of course the workout fluctuates because it depends on heart rate. It depends on how I'm feeling, how I'm recovering, how I'm eating. So like, I would say most weeks, like we're doing one speed workout. We're doing a base run at like a zone 1, zone 2.
Mm-hmm. How far are your base runs right now?
I would say for 30 minutes, it's about 3 miles, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, so a mile for Z1.
Yeah, right. And then we're like trying to get my heart in shape is what it looks like to me, because like I'll go and run a 30-minute base run at like zone 1, but what I'm noticing is with my heart, like Bob wants me at like a 150 to a 160 BPM for that.
For zone 1?
For zone 1.
Oh, okay, because you're so young. Yeah, so that would be a little hard, because mine's 140, but I'm 40 years old.
Yeah. And I'm like running, and I'm watching my watch, and I notice like, I'm starting out good, and then when I'm really getting into it, like I'm at like 170.
Really?
So like
I'm higher than zone 1.
Yeah, so I'm trying to like figure out, okay, what do I need to be doing in order to like maintain a 160. And, some of it is like just walking it to get it back down and then just picking it back up.
Yeah. Or just running slower.
Yeah, that too.
You probably want to go. And so like, if you're at that 170, you just have to run slower to maintain that 150.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's been a little bit challenging. Those base runs have been hard. It's just trying to like find that balance of like where I need to be in order to maintain that certain heart rate.
A 10-minute mile, your heart rate gets up to 170? Really?
Yeah.
Huh, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. And I don't feel like I'm working. I mean, the point of those base runs are like, I could be talking with Bob if I was doing things. Yeah. And we have done a couple where we're just running and like talking. And like even at 170, like I'm talking to him, like
you're
I'm
comfortable.
And I'm not like out of breath or anything like that. So, it's kind of fascinating to him too, because he's like, "Oh my gosh, you're at this."
Well, because me and him are running 130 to 140 heart rate for our zone 1, and so you're having a casual conversation at a 170, which is for us like a Z3, and so we wouldn't be talking much because our max heart rate is like probably 180, 185
Yeah,
right now.
that's where the difference is.
Yeah,
That
and
makes
yours
sense.
is like 2.5.
When I did that test run for the 5K, I was at like a 192. And that was
maxed out.
Yeah, and that was maxing out.
Yeah.
Faces right at
I would say 195 too would be
Yeah.
because it's what's it 220 minus your age, but that's a rough estimate,
Yeah.
obviously. So let's talk about quick the the workout Murph that you just did.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people listening don't do CrossFit. So you did this workout in 47 minutes? Right?
Yeah, about 47:59.
Okay, what is the workout Murph?
Okay, so Murph is a true Murph.
Yeah, the real one that you did.
Okay, a real Murph. I didn't do it like this, but it's a 25-pound weight vest, and then you're going to go and do a mile run, and then you're going to come back. And like I said, if you were doing a real Murph, you would do the mile, come back, you would bust out your 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, and then your 300 air squats, and then take off again for another mile run.
With a weight vest.
With a weight vest. All that is with a weight vest. Oh, yeah.
25.
No, 25.
Okay.
Yeah, 25. And the way that I did it was I had the weight vest on, I did the mile, I came back, but I break it down into sets. So everyone does. Yeah. I would like to be able to try and do a true Murph, but I don't think
I don't know. I've done a lot of Murph. A true Murph, you don't need to do the pull-ups first, then then squats.
But you would do them simultaneously, is what I'm saying. So like, if you're doing like the air squats, you do 300 on the dot, and then
in a row.
Yeah, well, not in a row, but like you're gonna sit there till you do your 300.
Okay. Right? Well, what did you do?
So I broke it up into sets. So I went and did my mile run, came back, and then I did 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, and then 15 air squats. Yep.
What did I do?
Mm-hmm. And then I did 20 rounds of it. Yeah.
That was the way I always did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Real Murph.
Yeah, I did the real Murph, but I'm saying, I guess what people like classify as the real Murph is like you going in the actual order. Where you actually like
do all 100, then all 200, all 300.
Exactly. You don't have to do it in a row, but like
that's interesting. Yeah, I never thought of it that way. I wonder if the times would be faster or slower. You'd burn out.
Oh yeah, you'd burn out.
Definitely. So, like, to clarify, 20-pound weight vest, you got to run a mile.
Yep.
Keeping the weight vest on, you do 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, and then with the weight vest on, still you run another mile for time.
Yeah.
Most people that would be way outside their capacity. You did that in 47 minutes.
And the goal of like the workout is to do it under an hour if you can.
Yeah, well, that's great. Yeah, even if you can do that, I think that's super cool.
Even if you're not doing it with the weight vest on and you like do the whole workout and you're still over an hour, I mean,
phenomenal.
You did the workout. I mean, it's a really hard workout.
Like when you look at scaling options, like let's say no weight vest, and you did 1 mile run, 50 pull-ups, 100 push-ups, 150 air squats, 1 mile run. Like that's all great fitness capacity.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You don't need any of that to be healthy.
No.
But when you look at the upper echelons, what a lot of these great people are doing, like that's the capacity, which is really sick. Okay, so what advice do you have for freshmen in high school that's maybe having a tough time in school and finding themselves? Because there's a lot of lost kids.
Yeah, definitely.
And I understand that. Times are weird, and technology's making lives harder, I think, in many cases, especially for kids. I grew up with no technology until I think I got a cell phone junior year in college.
Yeah.
But I didn't have text messaging. It was like straight up phone, like walkie-talkie.
Right. So you could just kind of call.
Yeah. So what advice do you have for someone tough time, school, finding themselves just lost?
Okay. So I think this kind of goes back to that other question you were asking about, like being successful is like kind of surrounding yourself with people that are going to maybe not push you as much in this scenario, but just surrounding yourself with like good people. And like, I think that's really important because I think looking back, if I surrounded myself with bad people, I don't think I would have, good habits. And like, I think being around good people is really, really crucial to like, kind of finding yourself, because all those good people have good ideas, and that helps you like, kind of find what you want to do, and they push you too. and you get excited to hear what they're going to kind of do. And, this other person is going to go and do this, or this person's going to this college. And I think like having good people is just super important. And then also like vice versa too. Like, I was really blessed to have a really good guidance counselor. And I think that's another, important person to kind of like lean on. If you have a really good guidance counselor, having that adult kind of figure in your life is really important too, because they can kind of guide you in the right direction. Maybe they're like, hey, like that's not good, don't do that. So like they're going to kind of steer you on
a mentor.
Yeah, you need somebody that's going to mentor you for sure.
And you got to surround yourself with really good people headed in the right direction. That's hard for people.
It is hard.
Adults,
it's very hard.
Yeah, especially in school because you want to fit in.
Oh yeah.
A lot of the kids that are
I think
cool kids, a lot of them, their futures might not look so bright because they're doing things that aren't going to lead to that.
Yeah,
and so. Yeah, the kids in school, mentors, great adults, surrounding themselves with really good people. I think that's hard.
Yeah, it's a bad stereotype. I mean, and I watched it all throughout high school, these kids that I, started out in elementary school with, and like, they're not doing much with their life right now. I mean, because they surrounded themselves with, bad people. And like, when it was time to go to college, they're going to college with people that they went to high school with, and they're staying together with them, to party and stuff like that. And like, they're just like, ruining themselves. It is hard. I mean, I went through it, in high school. I only had like one friend that I was like super close with because I just drew off of him because he was a baseball player. I was a gymnast. And his name is Roman, and he's at the University of South Carolina right now playing baseball.
You're going to Citadel.
So he's at a different.
So you're going to be near him down there?
I don't know how far away, but that's definitely something
sweet.
Yeah, but with him, I mean, he was a constant goal setter. I mean, for him, he wants to go to the MLB, so that's been his goal for a long, long, long time.
And it's no coincidence you two got along well because he wants to go play in major leagues. And
I wanted to go and do, college gymnastics. And, with him, like, he was like friends with some of the cool kids, but like he knew like, okay, this is like a barrier. Like, there's time for this, and then there's time for what I'm trying to accomplish. So I guess I really drew off of him, but by senior year, he was going off to this boarding school in South Carolina, I'm pretty sure. And, here I am all by myself senior year.
Wow.
That was very hard. It was extremely hard because, I mean, I had people that were friends, but I don't really classify them as friends. But, there were people I could get along with. But, I was kind of there by myself, and that was tough, and I had to really kind of draw back on the adults to like kind of find my way and make sure that, I was staying on task because I still had priorities I was taking care of. I was still trying I was still trying to get into the academy and everything like that. I was trying to all that was important. None of the like stereotype, trying to be cool. I was never into that. I never wanted to be like cool because I knew it was going to just hurt myself and like what I was trying to do.
Because in the real world, really no one cares if you're cool. You know? That's very interesting. So for some takeaways there, you're obviously very unique and you're headed on the path to super success and have already achieved that. And you had a very demanding childhood with training, and you had one good friend. And so this is very common, like in business and higher athletics, anything where the higher up that rank you go, the smaller and tighter your peer group gets. And that is the only way. If you are a socialite, and it's not a bad thing, but to be elite in almost any category, you're generally, the quote is like, eagles fly alone. And they do. And you flew alone.
Definitely.
And that's a, man, I have a lot of respect for that.
Thank you.
A tremendous amount.
Thank you.
So when you look at society as a whole, Are there any areas that you think we as human beings could do better with?
Ooh.
Anything sticking out? There's a lot of things sticking out, obviously.
I don't
But
know.
like, I'm just curious your
I
opinion.
really think technology is like a big thing because, you know, there's so much that goes on. I think like when it comes to like new, I don't really watch the news, and
Good for you.
I try and stay off like social media as much as possible. You know, I have friends that I follow, like my close friend, for example. You know, I'm just trying to follow his, you know, kind of journey and things like that. But I think it's really, when you're talking about the youth, I think it's steering them the wrong way. And, you know, it's,
Technology.
yeah, I mean, it's an easy scapegoat. I mean, you know, you look at college, and I mean, I saw it a lot in just 2 years' time, you know, and I saw, you know, two more to go. You know, I see, you know, it's an easy way for, you know, cheating and all that stuff, you know, and it's just, I think there's a lot of bad information, and you gotta kind of be careful what you're looking at, because you can't trust anything, because, you know,
even news.
yeah,
Like,
and especially that's like what I'm trying to get at, is like the news, like, you know, kids just trust like on Instagram. Oh my gosh, did you see this in the news? Like, and it's like on this account that's not even, you know, news related. You know, it's, you know, things like that. And I think it's just really like, it's like destroying our brains, really. I really do think that, like, you
so do
know,
I.
I know I'm on social media, but,
Not much.
you know,
I follow
I
you.
try and like not post a lot, you know, comment, things like that, because, you know, I think it just draws attention. You know, I'm not there for the likes or anything, you know, but just kind of like, you know, maybe I want to just throw something out there, you know. I mean, I enjoy, like, for example, like, I enjoy vlogging on YouTube.
Sure.
So, like, that's something fun that I like to do. But again, like, I guess that's my only, like, thing that I really like to do, because I enjoy the editing and things like that. But I just think the kids that are looking at the news, and like, I think it's like changing them, because they like truly believe that like that is real, and
It's changing
not
them.
real. Like that lifestyle, like when you're talking about celebrities and things like that, like they think that's the best life, that's the only way of living, and like it's so fake.
They want to be YouTube influencers.
Yeah,
Which
and
is like, good luck.
it's going to change your life. I mean, you will never be a normal person ever again. I mean, it's tough. It's not an easy lifestyle.
It's almost like that we're so connected to these devices that kids and adults, they're not able to think and decipher things for themselves anymore. And
their critical thinking skills are terrible.
Like, it's almost like 9 out of 10 people, if they read something, they take that as truth, versus like, how about you implement it or test it, or like do more research around what you actually think versus what you're being told. I think like our ancestors, like, even I say ancestors, like maybe a generation ago, they had to figure out everything through experience.
Oh yeah.
Like this, this was bad in the garden. Like, I need to do this next year. This didn't work well for the cattle, or, you know what I'm saying? Everything was learned through community learning, and it came out to be truthful because it was through experience. Like, this worked, this didn't. And now, shit, it's like, between just reading the news or Facebook posts from your neighbor or whatever, it's like, how much actual thinking are you doing? Testing? Like, I get this question like all the time, like, what supplement should I take, and this and that and that. And I ask, where I start with most people with most things, is, what are you looking to get out of it? Like, what is your goal?
Yeah.
and then we can move on from there, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But I feel you're absolutely right. I didn't expect that answer, but that's it, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I think, you know, morals play a long way too. Like, you know, what is it that you believe? Like, you know,
God.
Yeah. And like having an understanding of like being able to, it kind of goes back to like when you're young, you know, how are you going to think on your own when you're older? You know, what are you going to do like when you have your own house? You know, how are you going to cook for yourself? How are you going to fend for your family? You know, the media is not going to help you with that, any of that. I mean, the internet can be a very like, you know, helpful thing for certain things.
Hugely.
I mean, it is. We're very lucky to have it. Very lucky to have it. But I just think it's just, populating our brain with so much crap that you just don't need.
It's disinformation at a lot of levels, over amount of consumption. Like you can only process, right?
Yeah.
So much stuff. Yeah, no, that's very good. The other thing too is like I think the average high schooler is spending like 5 or 6 hours a day.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Imagine if they'd spent that working out,
or even just doing something productive with their life.
Starting a small company.
Yeah.
Like I was just talking to a good friend. He's going to be on the podcast soon, Colin Itzy. His kid's starting a company detailing cars.
Okay.
He's a senior in high school, going to Delhi soon. And like he's just learning. Like he's using his time to make money, and then he's helping people clean their cars. And he's maybe just not spending as much time on technology. He's being productive. Something you can look back at and say, I can see the fruits of my labor. Check that off. Like I did that. Versus like your 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 4 hours on these devices, unless you're like taking a course, right, or something, or learning something actually productive on YouTube, it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
And then you look back and studies are showing generally you're more depressed after.
Oh, yeah.
And so you not only did you not get anything to show for it, you actually had a negative with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. Looking back at your childhood, you had amazing parents. What values did they instill into you?
I think one of the big things was being humble. And that was something that my dad really taught me at a young age was, and this kind of happened when, some of the accolades started coming through with gymnastics and, I started moving up a little bit in my career. And, we would go to a lot of family get-togethers and, one thing he would always say is like, you don't need to talk about yourself. The family will talk to you if they want, to know about, this certain accolade, but you don't need to draw attention to yourself, because it just looks bad. So that was one thing. And still to this day, that's something that, I value pretty highly is just being humble because, your words aren't going to, matter much. I think your actions are really what are going to speak louder, and that's another saying that, I've lived by is actions speak louder than words. But yeah, I would definitely say humble. I mean, I would say determination. I mean, I've always been determined, I set a goal and I've always achieved it, except for the one that I'm still trying to strive for right now. But yeah, being determined is super important. And then hardworking. I mean, my mom being a school teacher, that's where most of the rigid lifestyle kind of came from, is because she was always on top of me when it came to school, because it must be that like teacher instinct, I think. But with that, I think you're gonna turn out better if you put in the work. And whatever you're trying to achieve, you can't do it without hard work. I mean, it's impossible. It'll never come without hard work. I mean,
and it's always about 10 times harder than you think it's going to be.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you want to go and get all A's, I mean, you have to sacrifice a lot. And that was one of my big goals this year, was just I want to have above a 3.5, and then I wanted to have a 4.0, and I sacrificed a lot in order to like make that happen. So it was hard work in academics, it was always hard work in the gym to see results. It's always been hard work. And those three things have really just helped me like get to where I am today.
Yeah, that's some good life lessons right there for everyone listening, including myself. All right, some rapid fire questions. Okay. What's your favorite book? Do you have a favorite book that stands out?
Ooh. I don't have a favorite book right now, but I do want to read Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Yeah, I really want to read that book. And I've done, I follow David Goggins a lot.
So do I.
But that's one book I want to read. And then also another one I want to read is Never Finished, the new one that he just came out with. And I definitely...
Yeah, his brand new one. Yeah, I haven't read either.
I definitely think I'm going to take the time to read those, because I think they're very motivational, very inspirational. I think they would help me, kind of keep pushing forward for what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, he had a hard life.
Oh, yeah.
For people that don't know, David Goggins, look him up. Won't be for everyone's taste, but he's amazing to me.
Yeah.
He hard life. He's accomplished a ton of stuff, and now he's like a full-time motivator, basically.
Yeah.
But he's motivating through his actions, like you said, not just attention.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
Favorite exercise?
Just in general,
Yeah,
I would say a muscle up.
yeah, sweet.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
that's one of
yeah.
my probably top 3 too.
Yeah.
That's a big bang for your buck.
Yeah,
If
definitely.
you're just like short on time, you do 20 muscle ups for time and you're in and out. And
Yeah.
maybe that'll be my workout today. I don't have a lot of time, but I want to do upper body. So maybe I'll just rip that out.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Favorite food? I know you love food.
Oh man, there's a lot.
I know, but you only have one to eat the rest of your life. What is it?
Okay, I would say pasta because homemade pasta.
The homemade
it's the
pasta.
best.
Stuff.
It is.
All
It's the
right.
best. Yeah.
All right, so this is podcast will hit a lot of people. If anyone's interested in chatting with you, maybe a kid, like advice or anything,
Yeah.
is there a way they can get in touch with you? Or
Oh
do you
yeah,
wanna just
absolutely.
say, don't reach out.
No, they should.
Okay, cool. How are they going to do that?
I mean, you can put my Instagram down the bio.
Okay, yep, I'll do that. All right,
Yep.
give it a shout out now, though. What is
Yep.
it?
So it's USA Gleason, and my last name is spelled Gleeson.
And that's on Instagram.
Yep, that's on Instagram.
Okay, and then is that the best way? Would you say you could like, DM you through that?
Yeah, I would say that's the best way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll put the link in the show notes.
Just shoot me a message.
Sweet dude, you are a huge inspiration. We're definitely going to have you back on.
Awesome.
Maybe if I come down next year and run that 10K, maybe we're shooting an episode down in Charleston.
Awesome.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'll be following you and all the good stuff you're doing. So thanks for your time.
Okay. Thank you, Josh.